Be sure to pick up the handouts. Kickoff this week will be a 3:40, as you know, on CBS. Call block at 1:15, and this will be Senior Day as well as Military Appreciation Day.
Yeah, we're excited about honoring the military and all they do for us, and serving our country certainly makes it a great place to live. So we're happy to honor them, and then obviously our seniors, being Senior Day, it's the last home game for a group of guys who've been really special to me, but they've been really special to this dog nation and the legacy they leave behind. And a lot of them, had opportunities to come out, and it'll be their last chance. So really want to challenge our fan base to come out and support these guys to end it right at home. Have an opportunity to do some things some teams have not done around here before, and they can do that by finishing it right Saturday. Playing a really good Kentucky game. Kentucky team. I think Mark Stoops is a really good head coach. He's done a tremendous job up there. The energy and enthusiasm in that game last year when we played up there was incredible to me. It's not really how I remembered it when I was here before as a player. Their offensive staff does a great job. They've got a senior quarterback who's playing really well, one of the best backs in the SEC, a veteran offensive line group, and some really big receivers. Then defensively, they play a similar style to us. Big guys, 3-4 defense, and they do a really good job as well. So the challenge is in front of us with a great Kentucky team rolling in here that I know they want nothing more than to come in here and try to prove they're the best team in the East. So we get an opportunity to play them at home, and it'll be a Senior Day, so we're excited about it. I'll open it from there.
Kirby, when you talk about Benny Snell, I think if memory serves in last year's game, they had a scoring drive that was almost entirely his runs off of direct snaps. Having faced some of that with Kerryon Johnson, do they kind of go about it different with Auburn and Kentucky, or is it similar? And having some prep with Johnson, will that help you guys?
Yeah, they have some similar plays. They might present them differently. I think Eddie does a really good job of each week, having a different presentation of what people label Wildcat. And they'll get a good picture of looking at what Kerryon did in that package. Auburn does it a little different than them, but Kentucky does a really good job. And their percentage of Wildcat based on this year was actually higher last year versus us, and that's usually predicated off how much success. I mean, if it's working, you do it more. And they had a couple drives last year, particularly one at the end that they ran almost the whole series Wildcat. And they're good at it. They're physical. Our kids talked last year about that was the most physical game they played in from a defensive standpoint, because it was so much grinding and hitting, and they pride themselves on that. So it'll be a great challenge for us. When we didn't stop the run real well last week, we're getting an opportunity this week to play a team that is hell-bent on running the ball.
You said after the game the big thing was going to be how your team responded to the loss. What have you seen so far, and what do you want to see?
Well, the first thing I've seen is guys come in here with a good attitude yesterday, ready to work, good spirits, leaders talking, communicating, got to be around the players and eat with them yesterday. These guys, they'll respond the right way. They're made of the right stuff, and that's all we can ask them to do. To come in with a really good attitude, get to work, expect them to do that. I'm excited about moving on, getting a chance to go get to work on Kentucky today, and that's what they have to do. The focus for us is totally on Big Blue, because we got to go out there and stop these guys.
Kirby, obviously you guys are having despite what happened last week, still having a great season. And you talked about being a wake-up call for the players. Does it also give the coach, is a game like that, kind of make you, I don't want to say circle the wagons, but a chance to hit the reset button as a coaching staff and maybe think that, it's a course correction type thing or something you may want to start doing a little differently, when you have a game that turns out the way that one did?
Yeah, I think anytime you get a chance to look at everything from that standpoint, you do. I mean, there's a lot of good things that happen in the kicking game, but there's a lot of bad things that happen. It wasn't like they went out there and whipped us in special teams. It's a situation where we got to continue to get better. We think of special teams as one of our best weapons, and we want to be aggressive in our special teams and use it as a weapon. Well, today is a chance for us to go out and get better on special teams, and we're going to try to improve that. It's the same thing on offense and defense. Today's another opportunity for us to go out and improve and get better and develop our team to get better so that we play better in this next game.
How much of a concern was the tackling in that game, and how much of that was just what Auburn does offensively, and how much carryover do you worry about for Kentucky?
I've been really concerned about our tackling all year. I haven't been happy with it. anytime. I think when you measure tackling by how many one-on-one situations you get in and how many of those you win. And typically, our ratio has been pretty the same all year. It's not been real good. People measure things differently. When there's two guys standing there to tackle a guy and one of them makes it, it's a whole lot different than a one-on-one situation. We lost a lot of one-on-one situations, but we lost a lot of one-on-one situations throughout the year. So when you go to tackle a back like Snell and King and these backs, they've got some good backs. So we've got to improve in that area, but that's been the case all year long. Good thing is we get to practice against some pretty good backs in our practices. We get to thud them, we don't get to tackle them. But we got to do a better job for sure.
Kirby, obviously that game was a little bit lopsided Saturday night. I'm just wondering, did you feel like, I don't feel like you might be a team that's 23 points different than Auburn, but were fundamental flaws exposed in that game, or did you feel like, it's one of those cases where the momentum gets involved and the team kind of gets hot and kind of snowballs?
I'll be honest with you, I'm worried about Kentucky. I really am. I know you want to ask about that and focus on that. Our concern, we had mistakes. We had really undisciplined penalties, things I talked about in the post-game presser. But our players, we told them we moved on. We got to go get ready for Kentucky, and that's really where our focus is.
Coach, real quick, how does a loss benefit you? As you get grind through a season, one loss can actually help you finish out that season.
I think you refocus, you recenter, like we talked about earlier. You've got to really focus on the things you didn't do well and the things you do. But it's not any difference after a loss or a win. Because after every win, we've come in here and said we got to refocus and recenter on the new opponent, the new team, and not let that carry over. It's no different this time. We got to refocus, recenter on who we're about to play. We got to improve the things we messed up. Every game we've won, we've had areas of concern for me. So we've got to continue to do that, and our players have got to kind of embrace that and understand that Kentucky's the target, and we got to go out and play our best game because they've got a really good football team.
Kirby, I know you're honed in on Kentucky, but the SEC right now has 3 interim coaches for the very first time, and I know each example is kind of different. Ole Miss had to make a change before the start of the season. The question I've got for you is, you've been active in recruiting so long, do you think this could be kind of a new norm, that changes could be made during the season because of this early signing period, and people may want to get the start due to the recruiting timetable being moved up?
May very well be. It's nothing that I've really thought long and hard about. It could be the norm. Obviously they're going to have to make a decision really fast because that signing date is going to be right upon the end of the season. So it's not something that I've really concerned myself with.
Coach, after this late season, how much is fatigue a concern, and if so, how do you plan to help fix that maybe this week?
I don't know that you can concern yourself. You think about it every day. We measure it with science, which is the GPS numbers. We look at the data from the game the other night to see how many guys hit max velocities and are they still running fast. We've averaged anywhere from 20 to 25 players over 19 miles an hour. That held true the other night. So we continue to measure those things, talk to the players. Recovery is a big part of what we talk about. Sleep, rest, getting their legs back at the end of the week. But I'm a big believer in work. I'm a big believer in practice, and we're going to continue to do that. And this team knows kind of what brought them here, and we got to continue to do that.
Kirby, so much of the season's been your message has always been to kind of bring players back down to earth a little bit. Yeah. Now you're in a situation where you got to pump them up a little bit. What's your technique with that, and what's the message, and how do you disseminate that this week?
We do it through the organization, top down. We talk to the strength staff, the support staff, Jonas' staff, the coaching staff, all the people that get to be around the players day to day. We talk about how we're going to approach them. The approach is, it starts with the man in the mirror. It starts with me, myself. It starts with each one of them. And they've got to look themselves internally and say, what can I do better to help this team moving forward? And that starts this week. What do I have to do as an O-lineman to play my best game? What do I have to do as a secondary player to play my best game? What do I got to do to be more disciplined and not make mistakes and make really poor decisions and lose focus? So everybody focuses on that. We preach the message, and a lot of that demeanor is created through the body language of the coaching staff and the training staff and the players, the leaders. How do they approach it? How does Roquan go out to practice? How does Nick Chubb? How does Sony? Because a lot of guys will be looking to them, and how they respond is kind of the right way to go about it.
In terms of discipline and some of those penalties, I know you talked to one player on the sideline I saw on the film. What's your message generally in that kind of situation? So it doesn't, I guess early in the season you guys had a game like that maybe, but it hadn't happened too often.
Yeah, there's not a lot you can do at the time. It's not those decisions. I always tell people are made long before the moment happens. You've made your mind up. If a guy shoves you late or pushes you late, that you're going to retaliate or you're not. You've made your mind up that when you get an opportunity to hit a guy on the sideline, you're going to do it or you're not. So the decisions are made long before it actually happens, and you got to make sure they make the right decisions. And there's a lot of times we didn't the other night.
Kirby, you alluded to this in your opening remarks, but you would have had strong senior representation on this team if those 4 guys not come back, and maybe a couple others too. But can you just kind of, as a class, talk about what these guys have meant to get that group together? You've alluded to them several times throughout the season.
Yeah, I think it's a special group. I think it's a special group because they've got really good leadership. They've got an opportunity to win what may be their 38th, possibly 39th win of their careers, which could rank them right at the top 10 senior classes to ever play here if they can pull that off. So big thing for me is that everybody else on the team acknowledges that it's their last home game, and you prepare and play as if it was yours. Because I know what that last home game means in Sanford Stadium. It's the one you remember the most, and these guys have meant a lot to this program. It meant a lot to me personally. It meant a lot to the staff, but they've meant a lot to this university. And I think we all owe it to them as a fan base, as coaching staff, as a team, to make sure that we give them our best effort.
Questions?
Kirby, after watching the tape of Saturday, what about the offensive line that had, obviously had been a young group that had improved each week? Is that something that, what kind of transpired there, and some of those things, or a lot of those things?
Some good, some bad, some ugly. Mostly the rest. Mostly the latter. But with what we needed, and we're moving on to Kentucky.
Kirby, at the end of the game, Gus did his thing with CBS, and he's walking off still within microphone range. He had an exchange with someone. He said, you could hear it clearly them say, "We whipped the dog crap out of him, didn't we?" How does that sit with you? Is that likely something you're going to remember?
I'll be honest with you. I think when you perform the way they did on the field, you earn the right to say really whatever you want. So I don't get into what Gus says, and he probably doesn't get into what I say.
Javon's become one of those guys that Jake seems to kind of rely on and just kind of trust to go up and get the ball. He did that on Saturday against Auburn. Is that something you guys see in practice? Is that, what relationship there have you seen develop over the years?
As far as him picking them out of the air and making plays?
Right.
He's done a good job of that. I think he's improved probably immensely at attacking the ball and not letting the ball get into his body. He's really become a hands receiver, which is what you want. He does a good job in the what we call 50-50 balls. He reacts, responds, snatches, does a lot of the drills that Coach Culley does with him. He's been able to do that here recently. Make some big catches. So that's been a big help for us because you take some of those 50-50 balls out of these games. There's some tight ball games that he's been able to win those. We need some more of that.
How do you evaluate how Trent Thompson's playing and the injuries that he's had? How is it affecting his play as he comes back from that?
I really don't think the injuries are affecting Trent at this point. I mean, he's healthy. He's practicing good, playing good. I think across the D-line as a whole, and I'm not talking about Trent, I think we can play better. We got to strike and get off blocks, but every player on our team can do that. It's easy to look. A lot of the things that reared their head in the last game, they were in the game before. They were in the game before that. You just may not have noticed them because the results weren't the same. But we as a coaching staff have been saying for a while, we got to fit runs better, we got to tackle better, we got to strike and get off blocks better. It only comes to you guys' eyesight when the results aren't the same. But we got to do a better job up front, striking, getting off blocks, and blow delivery.
Kirby, Saturday's game also represents the opportunity to go undefeated at home this year. Was that a goal for the team? And also, will they be wearing red this Saturday?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure what color we're wearing. I mean, I would think we wear red at home. We always wear red at home as far as I know. But I will say that it does it is important to the senior class that they finish it off the right way. They want to be one of the first teams to win the SEC East and beat everybody on the East. That's a first for them. A chance to go undefeated at home, which hadn't happened since 2012 or 2011. They want to be able to do those things and earmark, especially after last year's home schedule. That's important to them. I wouldn't say it was a written down goal of any kind, but it's important to the senior class we do it the right way.
Kirby, on Miko, I know it's kind of hard to set aside the muff, but as far as punt and kick returns, how much is it him and how much is it, he seems to have a lot of space ahead of him. The blocking seems to be good on both those units too.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. I hate it for him because he works really hard. He stays. I mean, I'm in my office getting ready to watch tape. He's still out there catching kicks and catching punts after practice. So it's important to him that he does it. And we got to do a good job of simulating some of those kicks and making him catch the hard ones. But he's doing a tremendous job, and the units around him are really doing well. I think if you asked other coaches in the league, they're saying, "Good grief, they got all these people blocked." You know, so there's some space there, and he's had a good opportunity to make some plays, and he has taken advantage of that. I'm not disappointed in anything he's done. I think he's gaining more confidence, and he's making some plays in the kicking game, and that was no more evident than Saturday, where I don't know, he had total yards. There's a lot, and a lot of that was people getting hats on people. I mean, we work hard on that. I think that's one of our best weapons. And it opens us up to, people want to fake kicks. We have to rep a ton more fakes because they're like, just assume fake it, just kick it to the guy, because they're back there returning it. So that has been a positive for us, even though we did not play well in special teams because of the muff, because of the penalty. But you take that out now, there's a lot of positive in the kicking game.
Last question?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.